All right, good morning. Today is Wednesday, the 7th of December, and we are going to finish up the database project we've been doing as a class today. I'm going to finish it up by going over the requirements both for part 1 and for part 2. The part 1 requirements are due tonight by midnight. The part 2 requirements are due 1 week from tonight by midnight. Also, 1 week from tonight by midnight, your electronic portfolio is due. So again, I'm going to go over part 1 and part 2 right now for about a half an hour or so. Tomorrow, we're going to go in and I'm going to give you a prelude, so to speak, for the AWD1000 Web Development Technologies class you'll be taking next semester. We're going to literally build a very simplistic little website as a class. I will have you download one piece of software. It's small. It literally should take about 1 minute to do. All right. Well, and it's one we're going to use a lot next semester. Friday will be our typical lab period. There will be no taping done. There will also be no taping done next week, Monday and Tuesday and Wednesday of next week. So the 12th, the 13th, and the 14th are all lab periods so that you can finish up this database project and that you can finish up your portfolio. All right. If you have questions on anything, it is your responsibility to get a hold of me as soon as possible. I've met with some people just using emails. I've met with other people on Teams, etc. I'll do it whatever way we have to so that I can get you through this stuff. All right. So again, finally, please remember that, as it says here, your part 1 requirements, which we're about to go over in just a minute, are due tonight. Tonight, Wednesday, 12/7/2022 by midnight. A week from tonight, the part 2 requirements that I'll also go over in just a moment are due by midnight, as is your electronic portfolio out on GitHub pages. All right. As it says again, as always, please email me with questions and concerns. So let's stop that. And the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to bring up the part 1 requirements. Now, when it says here updated, I just tried to clarify what was in here. So I got a question asked to me today where it says there, show you have successfully downloaded the SQL Server Management Studio on your machine by taking 1 or more screenshots. The easiest way to do that is go out and download SQL Server 2019 and download SQL Server Management Studio 2018. Well, how do we do that? Well, if I go out here, and I'm not going to do it because I've got them on my machine already, but if I come out here and say install, download, let's say SQL Server 2019 download, like that, free. All right. That'll bring us to here. And I don't know which one these are. I don't want any of this stuff. I want to go down to the Microsoft one. So it's Microsoft.com SQL Server download. So I'm going to go down to there. And I'm going to click. Now it comes up and it says, try SQL Server on premises or in the cloud. I don't know how to use it in the cloud. Otherwise, I'd have you do that. Maybe that's easier. But what I'd like you to do is arrow down till you find this Express and click the download now button. I'm not going to do that because it's already on my machine. All right. And it's not, it's a fairly big piece of software and it may take anywhere from 5 to 30 minutes, depending on your connection speed. When you get done with that, then you can come in and say SQL Server Management Studio download free. All right. And the first one that comes up is from Microsoft. Boy, it couldn't be much, more up to date. It's not even a month old. So I'm going to click on there and I'm going to go down to where it says download SSMS, and there it is. After you've done both of those, what you should get when you come down and click your Windows Start button, and yours might look a little different again, mine's about a year old or so, but if you go down to the M's, you should then have a Microsoft SQL Server 2019 folder, and underneath that, you should have a Microsoft SQL Server Tools folder. If I click that second folder, and I go down towards the bottom, there's Microsoft SQL Server Management Studio. So if I click that, it starts up Microsoft SQL Server Management Studio. So if this comes up like this, you're golden. Everything's cool. So the easiest thing to do then is to go up on your keyboard on the top as you go way towards the right, about 2/3 of the way over. There should be over there a key that says PRTSC for print screen. Tap that key. Then go into here where in your search box and type in Paint. It should show you the Paint app. If you click there to open it and you right mouse click and choose Paste, or just do a Control V, there it is. So if you save that then and you email that to me, if you save that and email it to me, that's 10 points right there. This is also where you will go and build the database. So again, let me bring it up one more time. So if I come in here, and I did this the other day, but I'm doing it again to be as complete and thorough as possible. So if you come in there and you click connect, that should show you all the stuff you have in here. Yours may be pretty empty, but if you click on databases there's my Garth DB database. If you don't have one, then you want to right mouse click on databases, choose new database, and give it a name. So you type in there Garth DB. And once you do that, you should be able to just click OK, and it should then show up in your list. Once you've done that, then you can open that up, the Garth DB, right mouse click on it, and choose New Query. That'll bring this window up right there. Then if you go out to the files that I've already given you, and I might have to search for mine. I don't know if I've got it on here or not. Looks like I don't. But if I do a file open, these are all files I have given you. And let's see, because I've moved mine around a little bit, unfortunately. So let me find it in here. You should have a file that's called Garth Records Updated.txt. All right. So all you will have to do is to come into here and highlight this, copy it to the clipboard, and then paste it into here. Like that. Come on. Paste it. Okay, I guess I didn't highlight it, but I didn't. Let me do that again. So highlight it, copy it to the clipboard. All right, come in here and paste it in. Now, I'm not going to do this because I already have it here. But you'll want to click right there, where it says execute, and then that'll add that. Then you will have a new table in there. After you do that, just follow the steps here. So go down to here and highlight all of this. Copy it to the clipboard. Oops, we get the whole thing. Copy it to the clipboard. Come in here, paste it in again, and then again hit this green button. Now you should have a table that should say dbo.albums, and it should have that data in it. Then after you do that, oops, Go back again to this file, highlight this. These are the songs. Copy that again to the clipboard, paste it in, again, click the green execute button. Now you have two tables, an albums table that has data in it, a songs table that doesn't have data in it yet. So after you've done that and clicked execute, come back here one more time. This is big. It's got like 254 records in it. So highlight all this. Copy it to the clipboard. Again, come back here and paste that in. It's going to be several lines long. You can see how big it is. And again, click that execute button. If you have any problems doing that, it is your responsibility to let me know. When you get done and you open up your Garth DB and you open up tables, you should have dbo.albums and dbo.songs. You should have both of those in there. All right. So jumping back then into our requirements. Over the last several days, I've given you the code that we need to add. This says basically you get 20 points right here for doing what I just told you. In other words, copying in the database. All right, creating the database, copying, creating the schema. And remember, the schema is this. So copy in the schema for the albums table, then the actual data for the albums table, then copy in the schema for the songs table, and copy in the actual songs for the songs table. All right, that is this. So that's 20 points. So if you've done those two, you got 30 already. Then go back into Muroc, into chapter 12 in Muroc. All right, if you remember, I'm trying to be as complete here as I can. So I'm going to go into my red shelf, and I'm going to log in as me. And I think it was page 219 now that I think about it. So I'm going to come into page 219. There it is. There's all that code. And you might need some of the stuff on 218 as well. All right. So this, the calculate click, the is valid data from there, and this from page 219. Copy that in. Bring that in and bring that in to your program. I've got this here. And when you bring it into your program, you will bring it in to this music library, or you can bring it in here. I really don't care. All right. Now, if you say, well, I can't do all that stuff. I don't know what the heck you're even talking about. Well, what you should have, and I'm even going to go and I'm going to grab it again and I'm going to copy it and send it out to you today. But I'm going to come out here to my C drive, where I've got a Muroc directory or folder, and I've got this C test files. Okay. And C# student download, book applications, chapter 12, product maintenance, product maintenance. So what do we need in here? Well, there's the validator. All right, so I'm going to grab that. I'm going to open it here. There's the is present, which you'll need, the is decimal, which you won't need, the is in 32, which you'll need, and the is within range, which you'll need. So I'm going to grab all of this, and I'm going to do a file, save as, and I'm going to grab that validator.cs, and I'm going to copy that to my clipboard. I'm sorry, to my desktop. So there's validator.cs. It's there now. I'm also going to do a file open. No, not from there. There. And let's see. Let's look at this product main. I don't know if this is the one that used it or not. It does not look like it. So file open. What else do we have here? Product DB. That doesn't look like it either. So file open. How about new product? There it is. There's the valid data that you can reuse. You're going to have to modify these, but I'm again going to do a file, save as, and I'm going to save that to the desktop. All right, then I'm going to jump back to my desktop. All right, and on my desktop, I'm going to find both of those files. So there's validator.cs, and there's frmproducts.cs. And I've cut them both. I'm going to put a new folder in here that I'm going to call Garth validation. And I'm going to paste those two files in there. All right. Then I'm going to right mouse click, do a send to, and now I've got a Garth validation.zip file, which I will send you at the end of this lecture. So you are responsible for adding that information into your program. All right. Now, if you've done all of those, and then you validated that you made sure that the name, the artist, the description, and the URL fields are not empty by using that is present that's in here. Make sure that this is numeric by using the is in 32 that's in here, and make sure that it's within range. This is the minimum, that's the maximum. That gives you 20 more points. So you now would have 10, 20, 30, 40, 50. Then I'd like you to redesign the splash screen. All right. Now, many of you have shown me your projects, and all you've done is change the background color. That's not really redesigning it. I'd rather have you really redesigned it a little bit. Use different images or do whatever. All right. We'll see how that looks when people start turning it in. Number 4, add extensive comments. So there should be comments in this program. So anything that you're doing in here that you think merits a comment does merit a comment. If your program, for example, this file is 123 lines long, and when you get done, it's 153 lines long because you've got 30 lines full of comments, that's a good thing. Then you are to upload a working copy of your code and provide me with an invite. All right. Again, that's what's due today. And the only reason I'm docking you points for late is I don't want you to fall behind. All right. So that's part 1. If you have questions as to what's on there, did I do this right? Did I do that right? You must email me. I'll be happy to email you back. I'll be happy to set up a Teams meeting if we need to, etc. That's part 1. So 20, 20, 40, 50, 70, 90, 100 points. All right, then let's look at part 2. This was just sent to you today. All right, make a copy of the folder you used for part 1. Make the changes to the copy and not the original. No, I'm not worried here about, yeah, well, I could just do that with GitHub. No, don't. All right. Then remove the picture box from the left-hand side of the main form. What does that mean? It means if you look at this right now and you run it and you go to the main page, I don't want that picture box there anymore. In fact, I want you to remove both this and this down here. I want you to remove both of those. Okay? Not only do I want you to remove the picture box, I want you to remove the code associated with the picture box. That's 5 points for doing both. Then I want you to remove that group box, which is what I just showed you, that had the kind of like a mini form in there that let you add a new record, and remove all that code. That's 5 more points. Next, if you go out to here, which is the Wikipedia for Garth Brooks, and you arrow down about 2/3 of the way down, it will say here, discography. This is where I got the information for the 15 albums that I have in the albums table. All right. Then what I want you to do, because I'm just making you do a little work on your own, but you've got a week. All right. Is I want you to grab the following for each one: the release date, the studio, the genre, the length, and the label. So how do you do that? Well, here's one. There is the release date, there's the studio, the genre, the length, and the label. So if I grab all these and I come out here and I paste that in, okay, there's going to be one thing of data, and it'll be a string. You could make it a date, but it's just as easy to just make it a string like this. Then we've got the studio. All right. And that'll be here. Then we've got the genre. And that'll be here. Then we have the length. You can make all of these that are in here. It's fine to make all of them strings. And finally, we have the label. So you will have 15 pieces of data that will look like this. Oops. I'm giving you the first one right here so you see it. You will also come in and you will first, where is it? Get rid of that. Bring up there and bring it rid of that. All right. You will first have to go in and create a schema. Okay. So when you create the schema, when you do that, you'll come up here. And I told you to call this album facts. All right. And what are we going to have in here? Well, we're still going to have that album ID, but it's going to be in there as a foreign key. But we can put it in there. It should be okay to put it in there like this. All right. And then we're going to want what? Something like album release date. And we'll have album studio. We'll have album, I don't know what happened there. We'll have album duration. And we'll have, what's 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. We'll have album label. And just do this. These are all going to be varchars except for the album ID. So the release date, just make it a varchar. 100's fine. Studio, 100's fine. The duration, 100 is way too big, but we'll just make it 25. And then finally for the label, again, make it about 100. That's fine. So there will be your schema, and then you will say insert into album facts, and you will put in here album release date, album studio, album duration, and album label. All right, then you can say values, and you'll have 15 of these. Now, don't do what I'm about to do. I'm just going to copy this down. But I'm assuming here you're going to replace these with the actual 15 pieces or 16 of data. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. This one is correct because that's the one for the first album. You will have to go in and put the other ones in here. You don't want that at the end. And after you've done all that, now I just gave you the answer. After you've done all that, and you put that in, all right, so that's creating this, the new table with these fields, all right, and set this up as a foreign key. It can also be the primary key, that's fine. Then you will have to go in next into your program. You will have to go into the music library. So you will have to go into here, right mouse click, do an add class. And again, this will be album facts.cs. There it is. Make that public. And again, very similar to what we did before. All right, I'm just going to grab these from the schema and make a couple changes. This is going to be wrong right now, but I'll fix it in just a second. So album ID, this will be an int, album ID, and it will be a get set. Next, we'll have a string for the album release date, and that again will be a get set. Then we'll have another string for the album studio with another get set, another string for the album duration with a get set, and finally a string for the album label with a get set. So if you're watching, I'm giving you what you need. All right, so you will save that. And doing all of that stuff. All right, doing all of that stuff will give you the 20 points. Plus, you're to add a new grid in here. So when you get done, you will actually have, just so you see this, I'm not going to save it when I get done. But when I go back to my main form here, I want this gone. So this gone, this gone. All right. If you want to, that's fine the way it is. But I'm going to come down here and I'm going to create 2 more data grid views. So let me view my toolbox. No usable controls in this group. Oh, what the heck is going on here? But I want there to be a data grid. Yeah, I'm not sure why it's not showing it right now, but it's not. I want there to be another one of these data grids down here and down here. All right. And when you run the program and click this, it should show the information that we've asked for. So let's go back and look at that. So add a new data grid view, call it DGV album fax. All right. When you add that, you will need to go in and add a new binding source. Okay. So wherever we put that binding source, just search for it. There should be two of them. Add a third one. Add a new get album fax method to the album's DAO.cs file. As it says, you can use these get search albums as a template. They'll be almost the same thing. Then link it all up. All right. Very similarly, like we did with the search. Finally, provide me an updated copy of everything. This is due a week from today. I must have grades in a week from tomorrow. All right. By the end of the day. So if you don't have it in by, let's just say 4 o'clock on Thursday, you'll get a 0, and that's not changeable. So if you have any questions on anything I've just gone over with you, if anything doesn't make sense, start with an email to jpscott@rankin.edu. Okay? On an as needed basis, we can set up a Teams meeting. We can do this over email, whatever way you want to. So finally, please remember, today again is Wednesday, December 7th. So the part 1 requirements for this project are due tonight by midnight. Again, any questions, feel free to email me. I'll be online all morning. Thanks. Have a good day. I'll be back tomorrow. And tomorrow we're going to go over this practice exercise or whatever you want to call it. We're going to do this as a class. Okay. Again, I'll talk to you then. Have a good day.